Hey reader family, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a video that I'm stealing from the K-pop community here on YouTube. I don't know exactly who started this game, but it's the Save One, Drop One game. I've played it once before in a Bookstorm episode way back when, but basically with each round I will be drawing two books and having them battle it out. I will then be saving one and dropping one. Not literally, but figuratively. Simple as that. I did pick all books that were on my moderately favorites list, and by moderately I mean, for me personally, in my favorite books list, I have like my absolute favorites, and then I have like the B-list favorites, if you know what I mean. Like they're still your favorite, but like they're not A-list. That's what I mean when I say moderately favorite books. I felt like it would have been way too difficult, but also way too predictable if I did my A-list favorites, so B-list it is. I feel like this is gonna be a struggle because I treat my favorite books as if they're my children. Now I'm realizing that this is gonna make me look like a bad book parent. Over here choosing between my book babies. My favorite books are gonna disown me after this, huh? Anyway, without further ado, let's get to saving and drop it. Round one. I pick this one. A Man Called Uwe. This book is about a grumpy old man who begins to shift once new neighbors move in next door. It's a book that's a bit focused on character exploration because we've got this cranky old guy who's got a lot of layers to his story. It's super heartfelt. It's a book that will move you and make you feel a little emotion. It definitely has a focus on like breaking down a character and dissecting their past and how their past has affected them and who they are today. I found it weirdly relatable at times. Not that like I'm an old grumpy grandpa, but Uwe is a man that likes routine and structure to a T, and I'm like that in a lot of ways. Mess with my routine and I will head into Grumpy Town. A part of me also loves this because I'm a sucker for old people. Does anybody else just like see an old person out and about and get a little bit emotional about it? To top it all off, this book has fantastic writing. Next up, Hyperbole and a Half. I just ripped it. Whoop! This book is a humorous look at the author's life and different situations that she's been put through and how she worked her way through those situations. It has a pretty heavy focus on mental illness, and each story is paired with a ridiculous illustration to go along with it. Remember when I first got this book and called it Hyperbole and a Half and a lot of you guys laughed at me in the comments? I remember it because it scarred me for life and I'll never live it down. This book has so many hilarious stories about dogs, and I am a big old doggo person. You could say doggos are my weakness. Just like when I see old people out and about and get a little emotional, sometimes when I see dogs out and about I get a little emotional. What's wrong with me? Am I just an emo kind of person? Apparently. I found it really admirable in how she explored her own journey with depression. The fact that she could be so vulnerable and open and just kind of like lay it all out there in book form. Like, I respect that. Mad respect. I could never. Also, the illustrations throughout it are ridiculous, and by ridiculous I mean perfect. And I'm pretty sure this book had me cry laughing at different points, which is not an easy thing for a book to get me to do. Books don't often get me to the point of cry laughter, and this one hit that point. Which one will I save? Which one will I drop? This almost feels like a battle between my love of dogs and old people. This book is like a shot of humor, and this book is like a shot of pureness, I guess you could say. So which shot am I gonna take and which shot am I gonna pour out? They're so different in tone, which is what's making me unsure. Conflicted, feeling conflicted, constipated with confliction. Pretend that I didn't just say that. You know what? I'm thinking that Hyperbole and a Half kind of has this one in the bag. I'm sitting here with both of them in my mind, and Hyperbole and a Half is just like overshadowing A Man Called Uwe. I'm sorry, Grumpy Grumps, but the doggos are taking the trophy today. I'm saving Hyperbole and a Half and I'm dropping A Man Called Uwe. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Round two. Shake, 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 shake it. Where things come back. This book is about a boy named Colin whose little brother goes missing. We follow him as he tries to figure out the whereabouts of his brother, and we also take a peek at what it's like growing up in a small town. It has a focus on loss, but loss in the sense that you can't fully close the chapter because you don't know the whereabouts of the person who's gone missing, and it hones in on a family after tragedy has struck the home and how they cope with that. I've realized recently that that's a thing that I really like in books, when it has family at the core and they're dealing with a tragedy, which I know sounds weird, like who wants to read a book about families going through tragedy? But it's so fascinating because every family is so different and handles situations differently. I don't know, I just love seeing how different families deal with tragedy. It also has a big element that pulls on my heartstrings, and that is weaving storylines. Chuck that in a book and I'll have a heyday. Where things come back will be going against everyone's an aliabin when you're an aliabin too. Translation, everyone's an alien when you're an alien too. This book is about an alien who is sent to Earth to explore, and in doing so he learns a lot about life through all these different perspectives he comes across. This is just a wholesome look at life through the lens of a quirky alien. It's really not an outrageous concept, but it has a strong impact despite it being so simple. I caught you, bro. Are you asking for me to drop you? Here, I'll give you some support to hold you over. Dang, paperbacks can't stand on their own. I, to this day, still recall bits of this story as I'm going about my day-to-day life. Talk about impact. Clearly, the book planted little seeds in my mind. It's one of those books that's like really positive, but also makes you kind of reflect on your life, and I honestly should reread it soon because I need some positive vibes in my life. Don't we all? Positivity. What a selection here. Polar opposites. Couldn't be any more different, honestly. One is super serious, and the other is like a happy-go-lucky explosion. Which to choose, which to choose, which to choose. It's like they're on a seesaw in my mind, flipping back and forth, begging to be picked. Why did I put myself through this again? I feel like no matter what, I will always lean towards a book that will make me feel happier than sad. So I'm gonna save Everyone's an Alien bin when you're an alien too, and I'm gonna drop Where Things Come Back. I'm sorry. Don't hate me, please. Winner, winner. This is starting to feel like PE when someone is chosen as the captain, and there is always that one person who is chosen last. Except this is worse because in this scenario, one gets saved and one gets dropped. Not that it even matters because it's not like these books have feelings, but like for some reason in my mind, they do have feelings. Round 3. Here we go, here we go, here we go, go, go. Everything, everything. In this book, we follow Maddie, who is basically allergic to the outside world, so she can't leave her house. But one day, a boy moves in next door, and her desire to live in the real world heightens. She's like, get me out of this house and get me next to that boy. I love this book because it combined two of my favorite things, beautiful writing and rich characters. Nicola Yoon books hit differently when it comes to the characters and writing, and I've realized recently how much I miss her books, and I need her to drop another one soon. I know that she's like working on one currently, but like, I need it right now. Give it to me, Nicola. I liked Maddie's narration style a lot, and just kind of seeing how she worked through the situation she was dealt in life. Also, the doodles throughout the book were a nice little touch, and just like the different formatting things, like the text messaging back and forth, loved that. I'll admit, the insta-love is the book's villain, but I'll let it slide, especially considering the situation. I think actually a big part of the reason as to why I really ended up enjoying this is because there was a big case surrounding a similar situation to what happened in this book that happened in a town pretty close to me, and I had my eyes glued to the news when that was happening, when that was all kind of unraveling. So reading this was just really similar to that story, and it was just super hecka fascinating. The book it's going against is The Miracles of the Namiya General Store. In this book, we follow a group of boys who have found themselves in an abandoned general store. The store once used to be a hub for advice, so people would send letters asking for advice, and the owner would answer them. The night the boys are there, they begin receiving letters asking for advice, and when they begin corresponding with these people asking for advice, they begin to realize the letters are coming from the past. This book just completely came at me unexpectedly, and I fell hard. It was love at first chapter for me, like talk about book hook. I was hooked on the book. Again, this is a book that has that weaving storylines thing that I am just a sucker for. It just adds this like overall magical tone to a story that doesn't have any magic in it. Actually, this book does have a bit of magic to it, so one could say the weaving storylines weaved their way out of the book and weaved themselves around my heart and tied it with a bow. I also loved seeing the history of the general store and just the overall heartwarming tone the book delivered. It knocked it out the park. This is a bit of a no-brainer for me, I think. I love everything, everything. I do consider it a favorite, but it's not like everything for me. Like it ain't no A-list favorite. And The Miracles of the Namiya General Store almost reached everything levels for me. It's honestly still kind of in that marination process in my mind where I'm just like thinking it over. I'm like, is it B-list favorite or is it A-list favorite? And I think it's leaning towards A-list. It has its foot in the door and it just needs to walk through it. Oop. So this is pretty clear. I'm gonna be dropping everything, everything. Oh, that kind of hurt. I'm not gonna lie. The disrespect. I'm sorry, Nicola Yoon. I love you. I love everything, everything. But for this battle, it goes to The Miracles of the Namiya General Store. Winner, winner. Round 4. Here we go, here we go, here we go, go. Don't read the comments. This story has two different takes of being involved in the video game world. We follow one, a pro gamer, and another character who wants to be a video game developer. They end up relying on each other when their worlds are flipped on their heads. I feel like I've been talking about this book non-stop recently, but that's for good reason. It's freaking good. The bond the main characters end up having is impeccable. It felt natural and didn't feel forced at all, which is something that I need more of in YA. Give me those natural connections. None of this let's put 3 and 3 together and try to make 8, because that's just not happening. Stop forcing those connections emotions. I really appreciated that each and every character in this book, like each side character, had a story. They all brought something to the table. None of them were flattened out, and everybody played a really important role. And also, I just really enjoyed the different angles we got of the video game world. Next, Second Chance Summer. The story of a girl who gets a second chance at mending old friendships and old relationships, while also dealing with horrible news that she received about her father. This book is the definition of emotional whiplash. Before going into this book, please consider to feel all the feels or to not feel all the feels. That is the question. Side note, I've been saying feel all the feels again recently, and 2014 is calling me and wants me to stop already. I don't remember if I got to the point of like full on tears with this book, but I definitely got like wet eyeballs. You know what I mean? I mean, eyeballs are already wet, but like another layer of wetness that could potentially be tears. That's what happened. I just really couldn't help but get caught up in everything and really feel the weight of the situation that the main character is going through. It's a story of a combination of a lot of things. It's a story of love and loss and also second chances. What do you know? This is a weird night. How dare you? Stay. At this point, you're asking to be dropped. This is a bit of a weird dynamic to throw into the ringer. This book be like, hi, hello, let me break your heart and drown you with pain. And this book be like, hi, hello, I know that I'm new to the favorites club, but listen up, I made a stamp on your heart when you first read me, and don't you ever forget that. Do you see what I see? A tough decision laid before me? This is hard because I feel like I related to both of them for very personal reasons. So how do I choose? I feel like I'm gonna go with the one that kind of has a bit of a lighter tone. This one is like heavy. Heavy. It also has its fun, lighthearted moments, but here we go. I'm saving, don't read the comments, and I'm dropping Second Chance Summer. I'm sorry. I can't look at you. You're a winner. Congrats. Round 5. Not very many books left. Here we go. A Short History of the Girl Next Door. This book follows Matt, who has developed strong feelings for one of his best friends, and we also see him struggle on the basketball team, making a name for himself. But when tragedy occurs, Matt must find the strength to carry on. The friendship aspect in this one was really nice. Despite the main character kind of wanting it to move into more of like the romance lane, it was still really nice seeing their bond and seeing how they evolved together. More stories about friendships deepening their bonds, because I love me a good friendship bond story. Who needs James Bond when you can get a friendship bond? Oh! It deals with a tragic event and how that can completely come up and just change your course of life completely, and it handled that storyline really well. It might make you weep a little, but any kind of story with a focus on a tragedy should kind of stir up some kind of emotion in you. If you're reading a book and it focuses on a tragedy and it doesn't stir up any kind of emotion, might I recommend returning that book? It's going against A Storied Life of A.J. Thickery, the story of a bookstore owner who is left one day with an extraordinary gift that completely changes his life. This is like a love letter to storytelling, in my opinion. It really is a book for people who value storytelling, and it made me appreciate the art form of storytelling even more than I already did. I love it, it's great, it's wonderful. Now to save one and drop one. As I was talking out my thoughts on these books, I had a bit of a realization, a bit of a light bulb moment, and I think I've realized that The Storied Life of A.J. Thickery actually belongs on my A-list favorites list. So I'm saving this one, and I'm sorry to you, A Short History of a Girl Next Door, but you're going by choo! Winner, winner. Last round. First up we have Every Heart a Doorway. When kids come back from worlds that they found behind doors, they must get adjusted back to the real world by going to Eleanor West's home for wayward children. When Nancy arrives, kids begin being murdered in the nighttime. Her and her newfound friends have decided that they're going to figure out who's behind it all. I didn't even give this book a full 5 stars, but I consider it a favorite. It's a shorty, but I was taken aback by how well shaped out it is. It's like a small book burrito stuffed up with greatness. The author does a great job of kind of fleshing out things in such a short amount of time, and brings in an intriguing element with the mystery element that's happening at the home with all the murders. She brings in de creeps, and makes your eyeballs do that side-eye emoji look as you're reading. Like, what be going on here? And it's going against the last book that is in here, The Little Prince. This book is about a little prince, what do you know, who leaves his planet to explore other planets, and in doing so, he learns a lot about life and growth through different situations that he finds himself in. This is another one of those books where it's just so pure and simple, but at the same time, you get so much out of it. It gives you a big ol' smackaroo in thinking. Was that foreshadowing? It gives you a big ol' smackaroo in thinking about life. A topic that we sometimes want to avoid, but this book be like, hold up, wait a minute, put a little thought in it. It really makes you think about life and growth and things that you value, and it's a very rereadable book, and by that I mean you can read it several times and still get a lot out of it. Like, the more that you read it, the more you get out of it. I think I know which one I'm gonna pick. It's not really that difficult. Like, I love Every Heart a Doorway, I really do. I feel like it's just super enchanting and whimsical, but this book right here, The Little Prince, also is enchanting and whimsical, but it had a bigger impact on me. It's one that I think about often and really taught me a lot about myself and life and growth, and it's for sure the one that I'm gonna be saving and I'm gonna be dropping you. It is what it is.
I'm sorry.
Winner, 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 winner. Alright, that's it for Save One, Drop One Book Edition. I think I'm gonna do this video again, but with fictional characters, because I feel like that might be interesting. Now I want you guys to play with me down below in the comments. I'm gonna be listing a bunch of popular books on the screen right now and putting them against each other, and you tell me which ones you're going to save and drop. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.